Here in this theater, energy is being consumed as I walk around. Whether it's the lights powering us, or if it's a speaker amplifying my voice, or even whether it's those little silent phones and laptops hibernating and purring away in your bags. Our world is actually just a giant beast of consumption, with every idle moment that you and I and everyone out there spends consuming energy. And whenever we talk about energy, we automatically go to these familiar things like climate change and our carbon footprint and sustainability. But let's think about it. When we ask ourselves, who are the big energy culprits? We tend to point our fingers at things that we see every day. So cars and TVs and factories and hotels. But there's more to this than that. There's something missing. And it's a silent culprit lurking in the background in our most familiar places. And it's software. You see, the cool thing about software that we always seem to forget is that software was built using energy, and software will use energy when run. And so in addition to actually looking at how much energy it consumes when you are running your computer, perhaps we should also be looking at other aspects of it. Now, when we look at things like cars, we always take into account, yes, how much gas is used when you drive it, but also how much energy we use in building our cars. And so we have a process for actually quantifying this, because we know that cars are very tangible things. But the neat thing is, software is also built using tangible things. And a good place to start might be to think about, where is software built? What do these software development environments look like? Well, we're not just a bunch of code monkeys hacking away all the time, right? It's very simple. It's like a software factory. You have a bunch of people writing using devices, interacting using giant infrastructure like communication networks, and you have all these ingredients. And so what is the actual process of building software? Let's just quickly break it down. Let's run through it. I sit here, I write code on a computer, which I can quantify. I integrate and interact with a server farm somewhere, which is just a bunch of computers running there dedicated to serving up data, which I can quantify. And so I'm dealing with all these quantifiable, discrete components that are just basically parts of my software development factory line, right? And so now what we need to do is maybe figure out ways in which we can actually do this and just put it all back together. So this would give us a big picture. This would give us some kind of energy footprint for the manufacture of software. And this is where I come in. I'm a graduate student here in informatics, and I'm in the business of taking raw data and processing it into useful information. And so my project here is concerning finding ways to collect, to aggregate, and then to visualize all of this energy data regarding these software development sites to see if I can identify energy sinks. And this would be useful because here's the great thing about software. It's everywhere. It is integrated in every single aspect of our lives. And so if you can find ways to reduce the overall energy footprint of building our software, perhaps it can actually just go and push out into other parts and other systems, all of these code-carrying devices that we have around us. And so if we start looking at quick implications of this, I can see it in three main ways. And the first would be for developers themselves. As a programmer, if I can now analyze and optimize my software development environment, then not only am I making energy savings and being, greener and lovely, I also, I'll save some money. Maybe I can make software cheaper. There's a lot of ripple effects through the entire system. And then the other implication would be sort of outward facing. And this would be, how do you make this information, how do you make this data meaningful for a consumer, for a person buying software? This is a great example because I think as developers we can learn from it a lot. And this is a picture of a superstore in Fiji where I used to live, and these are just a bunch of refrigerators. So you walk around and you look at all the different stickers, and there's information about, capacity and how much, all the fancy features, an ice dispenser, this and that, right? Just various tidbits to help you make your decision. But here's the cool thing about the hardware components that we already have. There's an energy rating. And that little label over there tells us the energy efficiency of that refrigerator provided by the manufacturer who could do this process for their process, and enabled due to metrics and standards set by different groups. And so as software developers, if we can find ways to quantify all those components earlier, put it together, and actually find some baseline, perhaps we can find a way to have an ENERGY STAR rating for software. So the next time you download that next web browser, instead of just looking at how fast it runs and how many features you have, maybe you can also look at the green footprint, the energy footprint of your software. How green is it? So there's a lot of different things going on with software. And honestly speaking, the thing that I'm most excited about would be the far off, the distant implications of this kind of work. And it would simply be to have software actually playing an active role in reducing our overall energy footprint. So it would no longer just be us on our own with software, but understanding that this is embedded and integrated in everything else out there. So as we sit here in this theater again, embedded in our electric worlds, it would be nice if sometimes we took time to consider this hidden energy culprit, potential energy culprit, all around us. And maybe appreciate the fact that we're not alone. There's software around us, keeping us company, and we're embedded in this giant digital world. So I've said a lot about energy consumption and software. I don't mean to worry you guys, don't worry. There's a whole bunch of people out there, including myself, fiddling away trying to get this done. So, thank you.